red, redden, white, whiten, black, blacken, dark, darken. 5 adjectives, 5 verbs. Red, redden, white, whiten, black, blacken, dark, darken, bright, brighten. Thanks for listening to Master English with Tim, the podcast where every Monday you can learn English vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar in depth and detail and without ever hurrying. In this episode, I am going to tell you about a small trick you can use to more or less easily learn 5 different English verbs that we use for talking about light and color. In English, we can easily form 5 verbs connected with light and color just by taking an adjective like red, white, black, dark, or bright and adding the suffix en. Remember that a suffix is a letter or group of letters that you put at the end of a word that changes the word's meaning. So adding this suffix en gives us the 5 verbs that I read to you at the beginning of the episode. Here they are again: redden, whiten, blacken, darken, and brighten. Before we start with these verbs, let me say that we have around 10 more verbs that have this en suffix and that come from adjectives, but that are not connected with light and color. But I will talk about those verbs in a future episode. So what does this suffix en do? When you add en to an adjective, you get a verb that means become or make. So for example, take red and add en, and you get a verb that means become red or make red. It's actually a little bit more complicated than that, but if you just want to understand what these verbs mean, understanding that this en means become or make is an excellent first step. So let's get started with our 5 verbs for this episode. First is redden. If something reddens, that's actually with 2 D's, so let me spell it first, R-E-D-D-E-N. So if something reddens, it becomes red. For example, your skin can redden for a few different reasons. Your skin can redden if you spend a lot of time in the sun. Your skin can also redden if you scratch it too much. Also, your cheeks can redden if you feel embarrassed or if you're cold. And a person's eyes can redden if they have been crying or if they have spent a lot of time looking at a computer screen in the dark. One other thing that can redden is the sky. The sky reddens when the sun is going down or coming up. The sky actually reddens the most when the air is full of dirt and dust. In all of these examples, redden means become red. But can you use redden with the meaning of make something red? Well, you can in theory, but it's not super common. So let's move on to the next word. The second verb is whiten. That's W-H-I-T-E-N. If someone or something whitens, it becomes white. A person might whiten if they see a ghost. And some people will whiten if they get a really bad piece of news. So whiten means to become white. But can you whiten something or make it white? The answer is yes. Some types of toothpaste can whiten your teeth. Well, the companies that manufacture the toothpaste say that their product can whiten your teeth, but I'm not so sure if that really works. We also have another product that can definitely whiten things, especially clothing. This product is a simple chemical that we use in swimming pools to kill all of the bacteria and viruses and other living things in the water. This chemical is called chlorine. That's C-H-L-O-R-I-N-E. So in Russian it's chlor, I think in German it's chlor also, and in most European languages it's something with a cl or chlor. And you can also use chlorine, by the way, to whiten your clothing. Okay, let's move on to the third verb about light and color with this en suffix. It is blacken. If something blackens, it becomes black. Things usually blacken because of fire or getting burned. Wood and brick buildings blacken when they are burned by fire. The bark or outside skin of trees can blacken because of fire. And fire is not the only reason that something blackens. I guess some things blacken because of mold. M-O-L-D, mold. So if you leave bread or other food in the refrigerator for a really long time, the food will become covered in mold and blacken. Mold is that ugly, nasty stuff that happens or that starts to grow on food when the food is not fresh. Also, the sky can blacken before a big, scary storm starts. And can you blacken something? Well, yes, you can. I think this is a bit strange, but some people really like to blacken their chicken or other meats on the grill. Also, in a metaphorical sense, you could say that you blacken someone's reputation or make their reputation much worse. All right, our fourth verb is similar in meaning to blacken. It is darken. That's D-A-R-K-E-N. When something darkens, it becomes dark. So the sky can darken when night is coming. The sky can darken when a storm is going to start. And your television will darken very quickly if the electricity in your house goes out. It's not very common to say that you darken something. All right, now for our fifth and last verb. The opposite of darken is brighten. That's B-R-I-G-H-T-E-N. If something brightens, it becomes bright. Your house brightens in the morning when the sun comes up. A room brightens when you turn on the lights. A person's mood will brighten a lot if they win the lottery. We don't really say that we brighten things, but we can say that we brighten something up or make it brighter. If a room in your house is dark and depressing, you can brighten it up with different, happier colors of paint. You can brighten up a room by turning on the lights. And you can brighten up a room by opening the curtains at the window. Or at Christmas time, you can brighten up your house and even the neighborhood by putting up white or colored lights. Now, you might have a question right now. Maybe you are wondering if it's possible to just take any adjective, add the en suffix, and then get a verb. Well, the answer unfortunately is no. But like I said earlier this episode, there are around 10 or 12 more verbs that use this very practical suffix. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next week.